It is picked off by Eric Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace. Welcome to another episode of Wideout Wednesday. I am joined, as always, with my guy, Jasper Rose. What's good, man?
What's up, man? It's been a while.
Been a while, man. You ready to talk some receivers?
Yeah, man. Let's get into it.
So, obviously, last week we took a little hiatus. Did I even say that right? Hiatus? Yeah, hiatus. You know what I'm saying?
Mother Nature.
We weren't here. We didn't record last week. Had some things come up and everything, but we here now, and I haven't talked to Jasper since the first preseason game. So we've gone through two, but there is one topic that I really wanted to kind of kick everything off with, and it is quarterbacks. Is there such thing as a quarterback throwing too hard?
Yeah, I mean, that's subjective, but I think as a receiver, just the old adage is you should, catch anything that touches your hands, regardless, especially when you're dealing with a younger quarterback, who probably needs a confidence boost, when he first gets in there, you got to make him look good. You know what I mean? So the ball isn't always going to be perfect. And even in a game time situation, whether it's practice, walkthroughs, whatever the case may be, you want to make the quarterback look good. And, if you get your hands on it, you at any point in time, you expect to catch the ball. So I don't think any receiver in the history has ever dropped the ball that's touched his hands and went up to the quarterback like, hey, you got to put it. No, the first thing you say is my bad. That's on me. So I think that it's subjective. Yeah. Can there be a little, too much hot sauce, on the ball? Sure. But if you touch it, you got to catch it, whether it's up and away, low and away. It is what it is.
So when you saw Trey Lance throw that rocket, or no, it wasn't even Trey Lance. Let's start with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get into some Trey Lance performances because we haven't talked about that yet. But Jimmy, he threw a ball kind of high, deep over the middle to Brandon Aiyuk. Went off his hands and it ended up getting intercepted. What was the first thing that kind of went through your mind when you saw that?
I was watching my dad. He'll tell you. Just the first thing I said was, Aiyuk's got to catch that. He went up for it. Yeah, it was high, but I mean, again, from my perspective as a receiver, I used to like going up for balls because that's when you can really show off, your athletic ability, your vertical, whatever the case may be. And a ball that's up and away like that, as long as it's not across the middle where you feel like you're gonna get your bell rung, like other than that, that's usually like a fun play to go up there and get it. So I guarantee you Brandon Aiyuk would be the first one to tell you I should have caught that. So as soon as it went off his hands, I was like, yeah, he's got to catch that. Was the ball high? Yeah, but he should have caught that. It's third down, money down. We need that. Keep the chains moving. He's got to catch that. So that was the first thing on my mind. I wasn't really too much worried about where Jimmy's ball placement was at the time, especially as I saw the replays. I'm like, nah, he's got to pluck those.
Is there anything that kind of, as a receiver, is there anything that goes through your mind when you are fully extended like that, kind of going over the middle, thinking about maybe somebody coming your way? Do you think your body can tense up in a certain way that may contribute to a drop, or that just can't be you got to catch it? You
got to catch it. But what I will say, and as the game went on, I'm sure we'll get into that. That was the beginning of a lot of drops. And when I was telling my pops when we were watching the game is because he kept asking me why are there so many drops, and I'm like, man, as somebody who's been there before, I think, and this happens even in practices and walkthroughs, I can vividly remember somebody dropping something easy, and then it's contagious. Just like catching balls and making plays are contagious. Same thing with DBs. I'm sure y'all have the same rule. Like if somebody gets a PBU, somebody else gets a PB, it's contagious. If somebody keeps getting beat, y'all all start getting beat. So it starts to get to be mental. Because I do remember on the last drive of the first half, I do remember there was a slant. I think it was a slant that Trent Sherfield caught. And he looked like he caught it with his body, like he had to dive. He made sure he secured that catch. But I could tell mentally he didn't want to be the next one to drop a ball. I think Richie James had dropped one right before that.
Yeah.
Also, it was Trey Lance and the ball was coming hot. But I could tell after Aiyuk, then Deebo, then Sanu dropped one, which also resulted in a pick. But I could just tell everybody kind of tensed up in that moment. And it was troubling to see from veterans, like younger receivers. I wouldn't be surprised, but from veterans, and it just goes to show that once it's in anybody's head, and once it starts to get like, it just gets really contagious. And I could just tell
becomes
they
an
were really
epidemic.
exactly.
So we talked about the Jimmy Garoppolo one that was, a little high. You said Aiyuk should have caught that. What were your thoughts on the Mohamed Sanu drop that resulted in an interception?
Same thing. He's got to come down with that. That was, from watching it live, I was like, oh, yeah, he's definitely got to catch that. But then watching the replay, I was like, oh, it was a little behind him, and it was coming. It had some zip on it. So
No, his
I
was in
can
front of
understand.
him. Debo's was behind.
You're right. Debo's was behind the over. The Deebo had the
was
deep
kind
over.
of in front, but it was.
Right.
I mean, again, we're talking about on a slant, or it was like an end breaking route, fully extended.
Yeah, and it just grazed off his hands, and of course, tips and overthrows. You know what happens with that.
Yep,
So
picks.
yeah, exactly.
Every time.
So every time, and I thought it was definitely timing was just off. I know you broke it down already with on your QB Mondays, but he definitely Trey double hitched, and I think that threw off the timing. He probably should have let it go in that first window. He tried to hit him in the second window, and that's why the timing was off on that. But yeah, even still, you would like him to come down with those. You would like him, especially someone like Mohamed Sanu, who has a bigger catch radius than most of the other guys in the receiver room. He's got to come down with that. You really want him to make those plays again to establish that confidence, because at that time Trey had none. I think he was like 1 for 6 at that point. You know what I mean?
Right. So we got some people in the chat, man, and they're talking about Trent Sherfield, and we've talked about him and kind of, I don't want to say hyped him up, but we just kind of showed that we were excited about some of the things that we were hearing about.
Give him his flowers, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Giving him his flowers through training camp, and everything. He was making plays. It's continued through the preseason games. Yeah. We're talking about multiple explosive plays. Like, let's not even start with the explosive plays. Just like you said, kind of stopping the bleeding. That's what we try to say, right, in football. Like, stop the bleeding. He stopped the bleeding with the drops. Caught that, ball got low. I mean, it was a ball coming in hot on a slant. He caught that. And then, again, explosive play down the right sideline against the Chargers.
Great
explosive
scheme.
Play for a touchdown, which, again, we haven't talked since that Chiefs game, but explosive play for a touchdown. How do you – it's hard to know what's what during preseason, because you don't know exactly how the team plans on utilizing this guy during the season. But you think he's somebody that's solidifying like a role on this roster with how he's played so far?
Absolutely. I think on our first episode, I definitely looked at him more of, just a glorified, special teams guy, maybe somebody who could obviously play a lot during the preseason, be a 1 and 2 during the preseason. And then once he makes a team and be just, the gunner and somebody on kickoff and just do the things that he's been doing for the most of his career, like his time and with his time in Arizona. That's pretty much mainly what he was used as. I don't know if he saw too much saw too much action on the field. And if it was definitely probably like your 3 or 4 in your empty sets. But as I've watched him closely in these past 2 games, I like everything about him. And it's even funny is I know you had mentioned it. I don't know if it was episode 2 or 3, but you had mentioned just his swag and just kind of way he is on the field. Like, he very like similar just aesthetically to AB, Antonio Brown. And it's really weird because ever since you said that, I've seen other people mention, I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on the Niners community on Bleacher Report. Like, other people are also starting to see it from the way he walks, his towel, the high socks, like even his celebration after he scored a touchdown, like he kind of did the little handshake that AB be doing, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like just I don't know what it is about him. And ever since then, I watch the way he gets off the ball. I watch his routes are crisp. And like I was telling you, like, dudes who are hungry to make the squad via special teams and kind of know that's their niche, you're not going to outwork those guys. So he's not putting just the work. He's not just being I'm a practice hero, work like dude that's just going to work real hard and go hard every single route just to be going hard every single route. Like, you know what I mean? He's actually producing, and I could really see him carving a niche and being like a tough, gritty kind of, third and short kind of guy. Like, and then also, take the top off every now and again, just when you're thinking about Deebo and you're thinking about you, because there's going to be, and you're thinking about Kittle, like there's so many weapons. You're thinking about Mostert and like all the weapons that Shanahan has as in his offense. Like, you could see someone like Trent Sherfield just keep being completely forgotten about, and getting a lot of just, easy touchdowns or big gains and explosive plays, showing up on he might be a fantasy sleeper. I won't go that far yet, but he really could be, because I could definitely see him having one of those random games where he'll 5 grabs and just 2 tugs, just because there's so much focus on other guys. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, real quick, y'all, make sure if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that like button right now. Underdog Fantasy, I haven't pushed it in a while. All right. I'm going to definitely be having some fantasy challenges, some leagues, all that stuff going on. So if you have not already, I need to get my numbers up. If you haven't already, underdogfantasy.com, or go to the Underdog Fantasy app, use promo code Crocky. All right. And when you deposit a minimum of $10, you know what I'm saying, you get an extra $25 added to your account right then and there. And it's not just a fantasy app for football. I mean, they got football, basketball, baseball, but then they got some nice stuff, man. I mean, we're talking about like some props and things like that, pick'ems. So you can go on there, and I mean, I don't want to use the word gambling, but you basically can gamble on this app. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys sign up, download the app, deposit a minimum of $10, promo code Crocky. Do that right now. All right. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. You guys go to that account. I mean, go to that app. You won't regret it. Excellent app. The 49ers are playing week 1. They're playing the Lions. You'll be able to pick who you think is going to do better between Brandon Aiyuk or Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you just get to pick who you think is going to do better, and you can parlay that with other ones and make you some money. All right. So, again, Underdog Fantasy, make sure you guys download the app, promo code Crocky. All right, but aside from that, let's talk about, and yeah, guys, get these likes up. Let's go. Let's make them dance. Okay, I see you guys. Okay, I got to ask you this before we get started. They want to know, because this was a question on QB Monday with Greg. How do you like your steaks cooked?
Ooh, I'm a medium. I'm a medium. I'm a medium.
Don't think,
well.
hold on. Like I told
I'm a medium well.
Okay, medium well.
Yeah.
I don't think they like medium well. I don't think the chat is gonna like that.
Why aren't they gonna like that? What's wrong with medium well? I don't like it to be. I don't want to see any blood. Let's put it that way.
I think they want to see a little bit of
blood. I like a little pink, but no blood. A little pink, but no blood. Little pink. Right. So that's why I say medium. Yeah, medium well. Because
medium well is
medium,
W.
still
okay,
juicy.
So
yeah, it's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be a little
W.
pink. Exactly. Yeah, let's get it. We out here.
All right, so let's get back to Trent Sherfield a little bit, man, and just kind of what he's doing. And I think the first person that comes to mind, because I'm like, man, it seemed like a small role, but it was actually pretty significant, especially with the injuries that the 49ers have had to the receiver corps, but they can always count on one person to be there, and that was Kendrick Bourne. And I was like, man, like it seemed like a small loss, but that could be something big, because he was a chain mover. He was a guy that was consistently there. He was always healthy. He was always playing, aside from his one COVID game he missed. But now it looks like Trent Sherfield could not only fill in kind of as the Kendrick Bourne type role, but he also can stretch the field. So he brings a different dynamic than even Kendrick Bourne utilized. Do you think that's kind of fair to make that kind of comparison?
Yeah, absolutely. And just from what I've seen, how he plays, he's better than Kendrick Bourne.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's better than Kendrick Bourne. I'm 100% confident. I think.
So what do you
given
like about
time,
his game? What about his game just makes you just flat out he's just better than Kendrick Bourne?
I like his attitude. I like that he's got that dog. Like KB was good. I think KB. I'm not gonna just say he's too nice out there, because again, I've never heard any mic'd up sessions. Obviously, I haven't been close enough. I haven't really been to any camps, so I can't really see, just how he interacts, so to speak, on the field. But he's a goofy kid. Like, he likes to have fun. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's the time and the place to flip that switch. And every time I've seen Trent Sherfield on the field, he looks like he's ready to take your lunch. Like, he looks like he's just like, I saw one play, I want to say it was from the joint. No, I don't think it was from the joint practice. It might have been.
I think it was against his own teammate. You talking about like staring him down, talking, getting in his face.
Yep.
So here's the difference between Trent Sherfield. Okay, let me break something down for some of y'all. So when you get to the NFL, there are a lot of guys that have never had a job before. right? So I remember asking one of my teammates, I was like, hey man, like, where have you worked before? And he was like, I ain't never had no job, like just this football, like there are a lot of guys like that. So they don't understand anything else. Now they may have had some struggles kind of growing up, but we're talking that's years ago. So all they know right now is just, oh, I've been in the NFL. And at some point, I don't want to say you can kind of take that for granted, but you can kind of just, I'm supposed to kind of be here, right? Whereas a guy like Trent Sherfield, who was an undrafted rookie free agent, as was Kendrick Bourne, but not only was he an undrafted rookie free agent, he was somebody who, I was on one team. I'm no longer with that team. Now I'm with a new team. Like, how's the dynamic? And I think he brings kind of like this grown man attitude to the game, right? Like he brings this mindset of like, it's either me or you. And there are some guys that want to, oh man, it's practice, like, learn how to practice, take it easy on each other. And there are other guys that are like, man, I don't care if you're my teammate or not, you got to get it because it's either me or you. And it seems like he definitely brings that type of mindset to 49ers practices, and we've seen that carry over to the games. Uh-oh. Are you guys able to hear me? I think, did my guy freeze? Can you guys hear me? Oh, wait. Okay, there you go. You're back.
I'm back.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. You just froze for a second.
Yeah,
real quick, we got a contribution here. The rarer the steak, and this from Mark, the rarer the steak, the healthier the steak. Enzyme still alive. My bad, I don't got my glasses on, y'all. Enzyme still alive and easier to digest. This big misconception. As long as you cook the outside, it's safe. See, I never looked at it that way. I always thought like the rarer it is, like, am I eating a cow that just got killed out there? You know what I'm saying? You got the blood dripping and stuff, but sounds like that's better for you.
Right.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. I appreciate you dropping that knowledge. I try to drop football knowledge. He dropped some knowledge on how to cook our steaks. All right. Croc, can you talk about what's going on with CJ Henderson? CJ Henderson, he's not starting, which was interesting. And I don't know if you guys watched the preseason game against the Saints, but the outside guys, there was kind of like this zone coverage. And both of those guys that are playing over CJ Henderson, they got cooked. CJ Henderson, he's been playing well. It sounded like there was something going on with him off the field. So whatever that is, I can't speak to that. But I think some of that kind of gave him kind of a late start to training camp. And he's also coming off of an injury and whatnot. So maybe he has some of that going on. But
yeah, they had Caldwell looking like a wide receiver one. He was going crazy.
And that's the thing. Like sometimes it's like, man, how much stock do I put into
I drafted him yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I had a draft. I'm not gonna lie. I had a work draft, and I was like, man, I seen him sitting there, and a lot of people didn't know about him. And Michael Thomas is gonna be out for at least 4 or 5 weeks, so he is technically their wide receiver one right now.
Yeah, and he is somebody. I was watching him. I was actually watching Eric Stokes Jr. And I went back to the previous season. And I'm watching him just struggle with number one from Tennessee. And I'm like, man, who is number one from Tennessee? Because he's kind of working Eric Stokes. Now, the numbers weren't there, but just me watching, because I watch guys away from the ball. Are they, creating separation? Are they getting on top of guys? Are they getting stacked? He was getting stacked. He was getting rocked onto his heels. And I don't know what the numbers were. I just watched the individual matchups. I'm like, man, I don't know who number one is, but he and somebody was like, oh, undrafted free agent went to New Orleans Saints. And it happened to be Callaway who was getting off in this game.
Not Caldwell, Callaway.
Yeah, Callaway. All right, but yeah, as far as CJ Henderson goes, man, like I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty sure teams in the league are definitely kind of looking into that situation and keeping an eye on what exactly it is that they might want for him. Let's look into a few more of these questions. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys like all that good stuff. You got some other people that said medium rare for sure. And you were a guy that said medium well. So this isn't.
Yeah, it's either or, medium rare or medium well, depending on how I feel. But less the pink. Yeah, I'm really cool off the pink. A little bit of pink, no blood.
Armstead for Henderson. Who says no? I think Jaguars say no.
Absolutely.
Now Kinlaw for Henderson. That's a little bit more intriguing, probably to them.
They also say no. They also say no. I think they say no. Kinlaw's still really raw. I think Kinlaw's still really raw right now. I do.
Here we go. Also, any news on Elijah Mitchell, the running back? Yeah, he was dealing with an injury, but it sounds like he came back to practice today. Now, to what capacity, I'm not sure. I haven't checked on that, but it sounded like he was out there today. All right, here we go. So, question for you: Is Travis Benjamin or Richie James making his team?
This is tough because I like Richie. I fought for him. I'm. These drops are new to me. I've never seen him drop this many balls. Over the past few years, when he has got in there, Croc, I have seen him be a consistent person around the ball. Anytime the ball's thrown to him, I've seen him make plays. Like, I've never seen him have, and I think at this point it's mental. Yes, both balls that went through his hands in the Chiefs game and this past game versus the Chargers, they had zip on it. They were both from Trey. The out route, I think it was a deep out in the Chiefs game.
That one, I feel like it's tough. But I think the element. Okay, so why do you think it was tough?
It was tough because A, it was an outbreaking route. B, he was worried about his feet. It was a third. It was a money catch, but it's a catch you expect. Your wide receiver 1, your wide receiver 2. You're starting. If you're on the squad, you expect somebody. If that was regular season, you expect him to come down with that. If he's in there, he's got to make that play. Both were very catchable.
Period. I think there are a lot of people that's the part that I don't think people understand. When you're going to catch the ball and you're running towards the sideline, you start to have a lot of different things kind of going through your mind, right? So it's like, as I'm running towards the sideline, it's like, okay, I know I'm kind of closing in on this space where I need to keep my feet in bounds. And while all this is going through your head, like, where it's like, okay, got to get my feet in bounds, got to catch the ball, I got to look down, make sure and then ball's there, drop. And maybe with Trey Lance throwing it, you have less time to. Yeah. With Trey Lance throwing it, you got less time to process all that's going on. So tough drop. Again, just like we talked about earlier with some of the drops that from the other guys, nobody would make an excuse for dropping the ball. They tell you 10 times out of 10 they got to catch that rock. But Richie James, man, and this reminds me of go back Kendrick Bourne. A couple years ago, there was a preseason where he was dropping. He had some uncharacteristic drops during preseason, and a lot of people were kind of scared of that. And he almost got cut for it, but Jalen Hurd and Trent Taylor went down with injuries, so they were able to kind of keep him. You think he's going to take something like that for Richie James to stick around?
Most likely, because I mean, he still has a shot just because I haven't seen who's 6 again, Croc? Local kid, number 6, Webster.
December Webster? Where are you from?
Yeah. I forgot. He's from he's like from Antioch or something.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or Pleasanton. I can't remember. But either way, I haven't seen him get too many reps, and I feel like it should be those 3 because they're all 3 of them are very interchangeable as far as being return guys. And Travis Benjamin, his slant
was ugly.
Was great.
The first game it was ugly, right? I mean, he had 4 targets, 0 catches, was super regular on special teams in the return game. I'm like, this ain't nothing.
I just can't trust him to win consistently. Like, he had the slant, like, that's easy. I could still win on that, especially when Trey moves the middle backer out the middle of the field for you. Like, everything was done for him. Like, all he had to do was catch it and walk in the end zone.
Can we talk about that? Can you talk?
Can.
Because there's a lot of people that talk about.
I don't know what he did on that play.
I mean, they look at Trey Lance and they're just like, needs time. He's raw. Needs time to develop. But can you talk about what he did on that play?
Man, what's funny is me and my pop, my pops and I were watching it, and when we watched in live time, you don't see it. In live time, I was like, oh, he's going through his progressions. And then when they rolled the replay back, I was like, oh, no, he wasn't going through his progressions. He was looking over there. That was all smoke screen. That was all fake. That was fake news. He was just looking to the left. Man, that was graduate level stuff. That's Tom Brady. That's Aaron Rodgers. That's Peyton Manning. He manipulated. He had 30. I think it was 31, right?
Yeah, 31.
He had 31. He had 31 in the middle of the field. He knew he had man coverage. He saw the man coverage, but he knew he had to manipulate 31, who's the outsider, or was he Mike? Might have been Mike. It doesn't matter. Either way, he was in the middle field. He had to get him up out of there.
Had to move him.
So yeah. So
who doesn't? There's a quarterback. 49ers have a quarterback on the roster that does not move.
Does not do
backers.
That. Yeah. We're not gonna talk about him. We're not gonna do that.
But that's my thing. Like, how can this rookie come in there and do it?
And do that.
and you don't
And
do
it's
that
not
ever.
even
You
just
just
that,
actually throw
Croc.
it right to the guy.
Right. And it's not even just that. It was the ability to manipulate him, get him to the hash that he wanted him to. And right when he did, to flip your hips and put the ball like precisely on the money, right in his chest, right in stride. He better not have dropped that. And right. And as soon as and you see with a ball when it has that velocity on it, like I don't know what these cats got to do. Like Shanahan said in the presser, get used to it. Get on the jugs, do whatever you got to do. Like, because when you catch a ball like that, that's coming with that velocity in stride, there's so many more things you could do. Whether you're not waiting on it, you're not reaching above, you're not reaching behind you. When it's like that in stride, like the offense is gonna click, and that's why I can't. And I know where you're going with this, Croc. That's why I can't see why people would say he isn't ready based off the fact that what he gives you and the mistakes he gives you are also the same mistakes Jimmy's gonna give you. So why not go with the kid that has the higher ceiling that can take your offense to another level, but still deal with the same mistakes? Jimmy's making literally their interceptions were the same. We're literally the same. You know what I mean? So, but why not go with the kid that gives you more options and he hasn't even used his other pack and he hasn't ran him at all?
Yeah,
So
we're talking about like some of the issues that
mhm,
Jimmy and Trey, you're comparing them, and one guy's been in the league for 8 years. The other one is just,
right.
playing in his first couple live snaps in the NFL.
My gut's
And
telling me he's starting week 1, Croc. My gut is telling me that based off of everything that's happened so far
it
and
sound like,
based
I
off
don't know,
of
it sound like they leaning towards Jimmy G. And I'm fine with
why do you
that.
say that? Why do you say that?
That's what
Because I
wait,
think
today that's what he
he's
made it seem like.
he's been back. Oh, I didn't see anything he said today. I'm going off of
Oh
what he
yeah.
said after. I'm going off what he said Sunday, and I'm going how his whole narrative has changed since the day they came out with the joint press conference with him and John Lynch, saying after the trade, after they traded up to 3, it was, oh, Jimmy's our guy, and he is went completely 180 since then, Croc. So that's what I'm going off of. Also
Yeah.
off the fact of the eye test of what he's seeing every single day, and he knows why not use everything we spent on this kid right now versus sitting and waiting another year to use everything we spent.
I think that's what logic says, but I think he wants to see a little bit more consistency in there from him. And I don't think Jimmy has done anything to just keep his job, but I don't think Trey Lance has 100% gave Kyle Shanahan like
True.
no choice but to put him in there. Right now,
He
we've
hasn't.
seen it. We've seen the high upside, but even then, starting 1-6, like
Yeah.
Kyle's not going to want his quarterback starting 1-6, regardless of the reasons why or whatever. Even a near pick on a little curl route. Like there are some things where you could see that, and this is kind of how I view it. You can see exactly what the upside is with Trey Lance, and we haven't even scratched the surface on that. We see it, and it's like, whoo, it's there. But then you also can see the low end of, dang, I know you can do this because I've seen you do it here, but here, you didn't do it, right? Like you didn't move the guy, you didn't pull the trigger, you weren't confident with what you were seeing post snap. I think once Kyle Shanahan sees him more comfortable, consistently doing those things, I don't think he'll have any problems put him in there. But I think right now, and again, could be wrong, but I think right now, that's where Kyle is, and I think that's why he's probably leaning a little bit more towards Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I can see that.
Here we go. I had a super chat. Tim, appreciate the super chat. Love. Yes, sir. It seems like Sherfield's value is directly tied to Lance. You don't see Jimmy dropping dimes to Sherfield. Hey, that's right. And sometimes that happens, right? Quarterbacks just kind of have their guy that they feel comfortable throwing the ball to.
And that's a product of him running specifically with the 2s and 3s, especially at the beginning of camp before Sherfield probably started making plays. He was probably exclusively only running with Trey Lance, so they started to develop a rapport. And that happens in camp all the time with guys. Like, if Sherfield was a starter, it might be a little different. If Sherfield was consistently running with the 1s versus the 2s and the 3s more often than not, and vice versa. So that's probably where that chemistry stems from, because you don't see, and because we haven't just seen it a lot, we haven't seen him develop a chemistry with Aiyuk and Deebo because he's not running with them as often as he's probably ran with Sherfield. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I see. He says Jimmy was grinning pretty hard today, and he was. He looked excited. He was like, "Yeah, I
I
have a
missed
good idea."
everything.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was just. Kyle went on live and was like, I have an idea who we're going with. I've kind of known for a little while now. but he's not announcing anything because I think he wants to give Trey Lance like a last opportunity. And today in practice, they kind of split reps at some point. I don't know. It was interesting kind of reading how they did it. I couldn't tell if they were bringing Lance in to work half his reps with the ones or if they got equal snap. I don't know. It was all interesting with how they did it, but I don't know. I'm not good at guessing what Kyle Shanahan wants to do because he just
I don't
does
think any
whatever
of
you
us
think he's
are.
going left, he goes right.
I don't think
So,
any of us are, Croc. You're not the only one.
yeah. Here we go. So we had some questions. Here we go. Let's talk about this. I don't think we talk enough about Trey still being rusty. I think the fastballs are because of that. People like Jamar Chase, who sat out last year, are rusty too. So Trey Lance, some of what he's seeing, I don't think that's rust. I think that's just him not being confident sometimes with what he's seeing post snap. Like that's what I think. So I think it's just like it's there. So when you see him kind of hitch and then throw, that's just like I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna wait for it to get open and then
He
the
did it on the
NFL
play,
windows close quick, so he just tries to fire it in there. Like he's
and he did
not
it on the
like
play when he missed. Who was that open? Sherfield. Remember, there was a play where he also missed Sherfield wide open. I think he took a sack on the play. He double clutched. He was wide open. It's
right.
a crossover right over the middle.
That's him not knowing
Yeah,
100% what he's saying. With Jamar Chase, his biggest issue, and I know we've seen the drops, and sometimes with rookies, you see that just because they're thinking a lot, right? Like I mean, and you can attest to this, like what it's like learning a totally new offense, and especially in the NFL, you have to start learning all these different sight adjustments and how that kind of changes your play speed, right? Like if I'm moving, I can't play as fast. And I know I got to do this. And then what's my adjustment to this? What if he comes down and he stays down in cover two? Do I got to take it up or, how do I attack this? And then before you know it, oh, the ball's on me. And then you just drop it. So there could be some of that. But one thing I noted with Jamar Chase, even throughout the entire draft process, he was somebody to me that just really struggled to create separation. And I think where a lot of people went wrong with him, first of all, they were calling him generational talent. Jamar Chase was not that.
And trying to compare, there were like a lot of Odell comparisons. I think
Julio,
just the LSU
like all
thing,
kind of crazy stuff. And I'm like, bro, he's not that.
Not even big like that.
Right, nah. And not even like freakish like that during plays. Now, where he did win, contested catches. But I mean, we've seen N'Keal Harry, where he was amazing contested catch guy. What was N'Keal Harry's downfall? Like to me, and I remember being out on him, I'm like, he just does not create separation like that. Like there is a clear area where you see him win, but how consistent is that at the next level? I think that's what we're seeing with Jamar Chase and where his struggles are. I don't think it has anything to do with rust. I think it has to do with him having to learn how to win. The way he wins, he has to figure out how to win like that in the NFL. I think there's going to be an adjustment to that. So, I mean, that's just kind of my opinion there. But here we go. Let's see. Let's get to some more of these. Let's get kind of to the next topic. All right. You and I were kind of talking about, we talked about Trent Sherfield. We talked about, quarterbacks, do they throw the ball too hard? All right. And then the next one I want to talk about, do you think that there's any concerns with Deebo and Aiyuk on what they're supposed to be? Because you had Peter King there in the offseason. He's like, man, these guys is outside receivers, the top 6 outside receiver group in the NFL. And so far, small sample size in the preseason. But have you seen anything that worries you, or you're like, nah, man, none of this is an issue?
Nah, I'm not worried about either one of them. I think when the lights turn on, they're going to ball. I think they're both going to have great games against Detroit. I really think, regardless of who the quarterback is, I think they're both going to put up numbers, which is funny. I balked on drafting either one of them yesterday. They were both staring me in the face twice. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing it because I don't go with my heart. That's what I don't do. I don't ever take any Niners. I didn't take Kittle. I didn't take none of them cats because I want to be able to also enjoy the game on Sunday and just be able to watch and not, being like, nah, I want Deebo to catch.
Get Deebo a touch. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I just want to be able to watch it. Nah, Croc, I'm not worried about either one of them. The drops, I'm glad Aiyuk's getting them out the way. Deebo's so good, personally. And I think people were worried about Deebo last week. I think he tweaked something and left practice early, and I already saw all the mentions blowing up, and Deebo's hurt again. And then I saw that was one thing that impressed me was in a game where basically literally no starters were playing, Deebo's like, nah, I'm rocking
I was
today.
curious to see. Okay, so
that surprised me.
Well, okay, so the way preseason,
especially because he's dealing with something.
The way preseason usually goes, if you have any type of nagging anything and you're a guy, you're that
guy. You don't play at
So
all.
was
Croc.
it kind
Even
of?
guys without anything, like Kittle hasn't played at all. Kittle's fresh.
Do you think that Deebo's trying to maybe prove himself to
Yes.
Kyle Shanahan? Like, nah, man, like I can work through anything.
I don't know if it's. I think because I wouldn't say he has thin skin. Like I'm not gonna call him a Kevin Durant. Like, but I follow Deebo and I know he hears it. He hears it. I follow him on Instagram and I see, he posted something. What was it? Was it one of his workout videos? And he had I think he had like a Grant Cohn audio.
Yeah,
He had
Grant Cohn
somebody
talking. Yeah, the audio on
exactly.
it.
So he hears the chatter as far as some Niner fans thinking he's brittle or injury prone and all these things. Just because he did deal with a lot of nagging, just soft tissue things last year. And I think that was more so over like, nah, I'm here. I'm fine. I'll suit up even when I'm banged up and I'll get out there and do it. And he looked good. I think he had a catch on the first drive. And I think he also caught another like little curl route from, I think it was a first down. He caught a little curl route from Trey Lance. I think that might've been Trey's first completion was to him. But no, I was very impressed considering him and Aiyuk also went out. I think Aiyuk played Aiyuk played too. So, I think both of them are out to prove, we're not just, these diva receivers that are always nicked up and they're going to kind of coast it through preseason and camp. Nah, these cats are going hard. I've been seeing a lot of good things from them. They're finishing plays too. Like they're not just catching, like in practice specifically, I like to watch guys finish. Like that's how you practice as a receiver. Like that's the school of Jerry Rice. You know what I mean? You catch a ball in practice, you finish, run all the way to the end zone. So I'm seeing a lot of that on some of the, film that they have released. And, I'm not worried about those guys at all, Croc. And that's not even just because I'm a fan. I'm watching when I'm seeing, like, I would tell you if I was worried, like, I don't know. But I'm pretty confident in that wide receiver room right now, especially with, again, guys that are coming along with not just them. I really think guys like Sherfield and Juwan Jennings, who's somebody I was really high on from the beginning. And I said he would make this team. I didn't know he was going to do what he's been doing so far.
Did you see that one-on-one rep against the Chargers?
I haven't. Is that on the website right now?
It was in practice.
Oh wait, the bomb he
Yeah.
caught, right? Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And I didn't know he was getting on. That's what I mean. That's in a testament to him being in shape and all the things he talked about in his presser a few weeks ago. Like he changed his diet. He went plant-based and like he's lost so he looks completely different from how he looked when he first came in. And that's got to be in a testament to it because I never saw him winning up top like that, Croc. I thought he was just gonna have to be a big body kind of, box people out type of dude, maybe catch some seams, beat linebackers across the middle, maybe went on some goal line slants, but I didn't see him taking the top off like that. So, and that's the other thing. Like, I'm not worried about Aiyuk and Deebo specifically because of how these other guys have stepped up and come along. I'm really excited for the receiver room this year. I really am.
I was on the radio today. I did a hit on the radio, and they asked me about the receivers and if I was worried about it. I'm like, at the end of the day, man, like I'm not worried about those guys, and maybe they never are Odell and whatever. But Kyle Shanahan, regardless, is going to elevate these guys. I mean, they have more than enough ability to be legit in the NFL. We've seen it, right, from both guys. So now it's just them getting more comfortable with what Kyle Shanahan wants to do, and Kyle Shanahan is going to work to get his guys open and free them up and get them open in space.
Right.
Now it's just, on the quarterback to be able to deliver those passes and be able to utilize the guys in that way to stretch field. I do think that their numbers can definitely look different if it's Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback as opposed to Trey Lance, because Jimmy is looking to really get the ball out of his hands right now, and that's not a bad thing, but that's kind of what his strengths are. And whereas you have Trey Lance, who is looking to be a little bit more aggressive. And sometimes it works against him, right? We've seen him take some sacks where maybe Jimmy wouldn't have taken that sack, but then we also have seen him throw the ball down the field where Jimmy would not have taken that shot. So I'm curious to see what the balance is.
Or been late because I don't know if you watch Baldinger's breakdown on that, on some of Trey Lance's plays, but if you haven't, go check it out on Twitter. Baldy broke it down good because even in that window that he hit Sherfield in, he had to let the ball go so early. Like it was a cover 2 window. That's why he just slipped.
It was weird because it was a single high, but the safety was between the numbers and the hashes.
Yeah, so he treated it like either exactly. So either way, he treated it like 2.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So and you got to put that ball right in that corridor. It's a very soft spot, Croc, and he threw it before Sherfield even got to that point. That's why he looked so open, like he caught it in stride and still had time to catch the ball in stride and mix the safety, like which he did. So, I mean, even plays that I think Jimmy can do, he just doesn't. I think Trey processes them quicker, or at least at the same level, and that's a wash. That's another reason why I just think it should be a no-brainer.
I think Trey can process things quicker and plays that are meant to be down the field, which is exciting to see. I think the issue so far, and probably what Kyle Shanahan is struggling with, is just the consistency of it, because it's not as consistent. You know, you talk about the Sanu play, like that's wide open. Yeah. You know, there were some other plays that were like that. There was like, you know, the Deebo Samuel one where he threw it behind him and hard.
Yeah.
Like that is wide open. But I think he's seeing those things late. But again, how do you improve on those things? I think you improve on it with reps. And I think the more he sees it and the more he's in it, the more. And I mean, this is an offense. We're kind of speeding up the process with Trey Lance because he was number 3 overall pick. But everybody before is like, hey, it takes multiple years to be good in this offense as a quarterback. And now it's like, oh no, but Trey Lance, you gotta look amazing right now, day one. I think that's tough too.
I think it's because of the verbiage, though. I think he knows a lot of the verbiage from North Dakota State. They ran a lot of that. Didn't Wentz start day one?
No, so he redshirted. He redshirted his first year, and they had Easton.
No, I'm talking about with the Eagles. I'm talking about the Eagles. When the Eagles drafted Carson Wentz, didn't he start?
No, so Carson Wentz, he started week 1, but remember they had Sam Bradford, and the Vikings, Teddy Bridgewater tore his knee up, so then the Eagles traded Bradford to the Eagles, and then it made it to where it's like, all right, Carson Wentz, you got the keys to the car now.
Okay,
and he played well. I mean, they went like 7-9, I believe. After winning 4
rookie, wasn't he like a rookie of the year candidate? He was
up there. He played well, and then the next year, like he went off and he was like an MVP candidate.
He tore his ACL in that Rams game. Then he tore his ACL. Yeah, he tore his ACL. He did.
He got hurt. Did he
MCL.
Okay, yeah.
MCL in that Rams game. Yeah.
Here we go. I still want Jalen Hurd. Maybe the idea. This is my dog JB. But D4 came back. Why not Jalen Hurd? Man could hope. What's your thoughts on Jalen Hurd? Where do you think they are with him?
Well, since you more updated than me, what did they say today? Did he return today? Because today was supposed to be the day his 10 days. He had 10 days off.
I believe he returned today, and I missed some of this because a lot of this news is coming out while I was training athletes. But I believe he returned today to practice. They gave him the 10 days off. The dynamic of the whole thing is really weird. When you were listening to Kyle Shanahan before talk about Jalen Hurd's situation, and just basically like, look, I want to give him the opportunity to make this squad, but he's running out of chances. So, I mean, what would you do with him right now? Okay, let's just talk. Who would your 6 be? You had to pick 6 receivers now. Yeah. Who would they be?
Deebo, Aiyuk, Sanu, Sherfield. Nah, it gets foggy. That's what's up. Yeah, Juwan. That's right. That's right. 5.
So you got one more spot. So with your last spot, you got Richie James, Nasimba Webster, Travis Benjamin, Jalen Hurd.
River Craig. He was only cut, huh? Out of the receiver room.
He was cut.
Only cut, right? Out of the receiver room?
Yeah.
Well, no, and they cut Kevin White like a few weeks ago. But yeah. If I'm going to return, who's fast twitch is more, Croc, between Webster?
See, I liked what I saw from Webster. I mean, small sample size, and not just from the return ability, which was solid on when we did see him in there, but just what he is, as a receiver. And I don't know 100% what he is, but at the end of the day, like, it don't matter what you are as a receiver right now. We need you as like to be key in that return game, right? But it's tough because we haven't seen a whole lot of them. And I will say, as much as we kind of dogged the other 2 guys, I thought they picked it up last game. Richie James had a nice punt return last game. So I think there are guys kind of trying to help themselves out.
I still like Richie just because he's been here. Like, he's got the long tenure with us. You know what I mean? And I still remember when he first got here. And I'll never forget the.
Well, are you out on Jalen Hurd?
No, I'm hoping he can honestly start the season on, the IR to designated to return, so I'm hoping we can stash him on IR again. I'm definitely not giving up on him just because of everything we've already talked about. when it
Man,
comes
we're
to
talking
him
about
and what
3
he.
straight years to start the season on IR.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough, Croc. But I think again, coming off the ACL, I know it takes time. I just know it. Like I'm not expecting you expecting Saquon and Odell to be ready week 1? I'm not.
No, I mean, no, but they're in different situations. I mean, like, this is it for her.
This is, but I mean, if you're gonna try to get something on return in your investment, you've got to see it through. And the best option for that, if he's not ready right now, is to at least, what do you lose but except for a roster spot by putting him on IR? You know what I mean? To start the season. He's got to clear waivers, which I'm not even guaranteeing that he will. Like, given obviously a lot of teams haven't seen, so technically they can hide him still because nobody's really seen him since that Dallas game. So he probably will clear waivers. But I mean, again, somebody who's that size and can do what he can do, just to give up on just because he's been injured. You know, it's not like it's off the field stuff. It isn't like he's, just a locker room issue. Like it's just because he's been hurt, but the kid is still probably 24, 23. Like he's a young dude still. So I don't see why not. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm hoping.
Do you
That's
think?
what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Do you
Hope he
think
plays
that?
this Sunday. I hope he plays this weekend, and then
Do
we'll
you
see.
think it could be a scenario where they let him go and they're just like, if he clears waivers, great. If he doesn't, bye. We'll give
Like
you every
a
opportunity.
like a Joe Williams situation.
Yeah, or DJ Reed, because I think they wanted to bring DJ Reed back, but he ended up
Yeah.
signing with the Seahawks.
Yeah, but this seems more like the Joe Williams situation. We never got to see Joe Williams play, so this is
But
very
Joe Williams,
much.
I think that was different. Because
Why
I
was it
think Joe
different?
Williams, it wasn't like injury issues. I think it was like him.
No, he was injured. He was injured.
Man. I think they put him on IR to stash him for that year.
Okay.
I don't think it was anything where it was like, Joe Will, oh man, we just can't wait to see Joe Williams. I think it was like, and then next year they just let him go.
Yeah. So more like Lattimore then. The Lattimore situation.
Yeah. But the tough thing is because with Lattimore, we got to see him a little bit
right.
Hurd showed us like a glimpse of what, like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the tough, and we're all holding on to that, right? We're all holding on to this 6'5", 230-pound guy who runs routes like a small guy but finishes plays like he's Derrick Henry. And we know what that could potentially be. We saw the jump touchdown. 3 plays. And that's all we have over the last 2 years. And I think we're holding on to the thoughts of what that could be. But at the end of the day, you got a guy like Trent Sherfield who's like, dude, I'm balling. Why y'all talking about Jalen Hurd?
And Juwan Jennings.
Jennings. And I know Juwan Jennings, man, he like, man, forget him. Like, whatever. It's either me or him. And real quick, man, I want to thank Donald for the contribution here. Just showing love, fellas. Keep it up. Appreciate you coming here every Wednesday, coming right at y'all. Again, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I have it up here. You guys can kind of see it at the bottom right there. Underdog Fantasy, underdogfantasy.com. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. When you deposit a minimum of $10, use promo code Crocky. They're going to put an additional $25 into your account. So you ain't even really losing no money. You get to do little gambles, wagers, got fantasy football. I'm going to have a nice little fantasy league for y'all. All kind of cool stuff. So again, download the Underdog Fantasy app right now. Promo code Crocky. You won't regret it. I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate the contribution, Donald.
What game you going to, bro?
You said what?
You going to make it to a game this year?
Yeah, actually, my brother Donald, he actually just FaceTimed me and he was like, "Did you buy your ticket?" Yeah, we're going to New York. We're going to the Eagles game. So the Eagles game week 2.
Okay. Oh, you out there, Croc? I see.
You said you going to?
No. I was saying I see you. You out there?
Week 2. We flying. We flying to New York. And I'll be out there in New York. Thursday or whatever? We're gonna catch a Yankee game on Friday. Saturday they got a whole bunch of 49er stuff out in Philly, so we're gonna go to Philly on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Kick it with the faithful. So any of y'all going, man, make sure y'all link up, man. Yeah. So we're gonna have fun with that. But man, shoes. I think we're approaching an hour here. You guys have any more questions? See if somebody's still responding to the steak question. No rare, no care. I see it. If we lose to the Eagles, I'm asleep. I'll be asleep with you, Wiz. Man. But again, man, hey, I appreciate everybody that's coming in here. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We've hit 100 people in here right now. So I should have at least 100 likes on this video. But anything else before this game? Because I know this is the last time I'm gonna be talking to you.
Man, how are you feeling? I mean, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. How are you feeling about?
Here's a question. Well, how
But
about
yeah,
you answer
exactly. That's exactly what I was getting. How are you feeling about cornerback? I mean, we just got rid of BW Webb. He didn't last very long. What were you seeing out of him schematically, especially on that touchdown that was given up in the back of the end zone? Whose fault was that? Is that you think the reason he wasn't just getting cooked to the point where I felt like he needed to be cut? I personally like BW Webb because I like veterans. That's why I like HaHa Clinton Dix as well back there. And both of them were on the field during that play. So I was gonna speak into Marco's question. Do you feel like corners are weakest spot, and how did you feel about the recent transactions?
No, because I mean, I look at it like at the end of the day, week 1, everybody's gonna be back.
Yeah,
and I think if you go into a season with your starting guys being, Jason Verrett, Emmanuel Mosley, Jimmy Ward, Jaquiski Tart, and Kwan Williams, you're solid. Now, these guys start going down, which they have. And I think that's the bigger issue because most teams, I mean, you just don't have an abundance of depth amongst your secondary. Most teams don't, right? There might be like a few that just have like good depth for whatever reasons. But most of the time, man, like start losing some starters, you're going to be in some trouble. The issue with the 49ers is they just lose these guys too often.
Too
right?
quick.
These guys just miss too much. So, even right now, we haven't seen guys play at all because I think they're trying to protect a lot of guys. But
how'd you feel, Avery? How'd you feel the Young Bucks did? Avery and they had a few PBUs, and Avery had a tough PI call on him. I thought that was great coverage.
Embry Thomas, I think he got
He's coming along.
He's coming along. He got beat on the vertical against the Chargers. He did give up a contested catch against the Chiefs. He gave up some underneath catches, and I thought were kind of just putting him in tough situations. But again, you got a guy like you got Diamador Lenore who's taking advantage of every opportunity, and he's playing well. And anytime they throw at him, he's breaking passes up. I think he's been targeted 6 or 7 times, and he's giving up 1 catch for 9 yards. And even that 1 catch was a cover 3. Like it was a cover 3. And it was like a 5-yard stop, and then he kind of caught it, turned upfield a little bit, and he kind of tackled him for a 9-yard gain. Aside from that, Embry Thomas
he's running with the one, and he was running with the ones.
I mean, Embry Thomas. Diamador Lenore. But go ahead.
Lenore was running with the ones, because he broke. I think the first drive, he broke that third down play up.
Yeah,
first drive.
He's out there. Was. Now Embry did play first group as well last week.
Okay,
but the previous week, Dante Johnson started with Diamador Lenore, and Lenore was matched up against. Tyreek Hill a good amount. And I finally got my hands on the all-22 film, so I got to watch both games from that view. And I think, you know what coaches always say, man, it's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is. So, I could talk about, what Diamador Lenore has done when targeted, and we're talking about a passer rating against him of 0.0. Like, that's great, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
There were some times where I saw him overplay some things and kind of get whooped outside and maybe have some bad leverage and things like that. But for the most part, he's been on it, and a lot of things haven't really been an issue. So it is cool to see Diamador Lenore, a guy who everybody kind of pegged as just this nickel guy, right? Like, oh, he's a nickel because he's not very tall, but I think he's played well. And I think, I think Embry Thomas got a little bit of catching up to do. He's a guy who sat out all of last year. He was an opt-out.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he was an opt-out at Michigan, but
I looked at him as he's a Big 12 guy. I'm expecting more of him. Coach Harbaugh coach him. I'm expecting good things out of him. And he's kind of a return specialist too. I'm surprised he haven't thrown him back there, bro. I was very surprised.
So usually, and I mean, I know this from experience. If they ain't putting you on special teams in the preseason, that's not a good sign.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
Now they're not gonna cut their third round cornerback.
No.
But typically, you ain't on special teams. That's saying something, And the fact that he hasn't returned any punts, any kicks, or anything like that. I mean, you put guys back there like River Craycraft, who they did cut.
Right. I am looking forward to, and I know you're probably gonna sign off on this one too. I'm looking forward to the final 53, so they can get these these swagless numbers out of there. They're really, my man is looking terrible in that number 49. Clinton Dix is looking crazy in that 49.
Yeah. Hey,
and Diamond Lenore is looking crazy in 38 as well. We got
so they'll get him up out of there. There are some numbers that will become available. I think I saw
Clinton Dix is looking crazy in 49, bro.
Yeah, it looks wild. I think Tony Jefferson, I don't think he's gonna make it. So there's an opportunity for 20. First of all,
he's hurt right now.
Haha has to make this squad.
He'll be fine. I think so.
We say that, but Tart coming back now, that kind of shakes things up. Yeah,
he came back today?
He came back today and he practiced.
Turf toe? It's turf toe, right?
Man, he back like cook crack.
Okay. So that changes it for Jefferson. Well, you said Wilson's gonna make it, yeah? You got Wilson making
so,
yeah. So tell me your DBs that are making it. Yeah, tell me your DBs.
So typically with the safeties, you usually keep 4.
Okay.
All right. Oh, hold on, real quick. I got an Underdog question here. Does the Underdog app keep your money if you win? No, if you win, they pay you out. So yeah, they don't keep your money. They pay you out. And I heard that the payout is pretty immediate, but I haven't tested it out yet to see how quick they pay you out. But I think it's almost immediate. So yeah, man, download the Underdog Fantasy app right now. You guys see it right here in the bottom left corner. Promo code Crocky. Deposit minimum $10. They throw an additional $25 into your account. I'm telling you, they got all kind of cool stuff. As long as online betting is legal in your state, you're good. And it is legal online betting. Like, I think if you can do like all these other little DraftKings and all that, I think you're good. Oh, you heard they keep it because of California? See, I don't know that. How about this? Like, Venmo me the money and I got you. But also they got fantasy and all that too for all the sports. So I don't think they could just keep your money, but I don't know. California do be on some weird stuff sometimes. But we were talking about the safeties out there possibly.
Overall DBs, who you got?
All right, so overall DBs, usually I think they want to keep around 10 guys, 10 defensive backs. So we'll look at off top, let's just say the guys that I feel like 1,000%, right? So you got Jason Verrett, Tart, Ward, Williams, and Mosley. All right, so that's 5.
You mean Wilson? You mean Tavon Wilson?
Williams.
Oh, Williams.
K1.
Yeah.
So that's 5 off rip. All right. And then I'd say Hufanga because he's a draft pick. That's a safety. I think they might only keep 4, right? Diamond Lenore because he's doing too good. And Ambry Thomas. Probably got to keep him as well. So now there's 2 more spots.
Ooh, I see why Jefferson ain't making it. Fuck.
You know what I'm saying? So you look at that now. We're talking Wilson. Now there's possibly 1 more spot. I think maybe, like you said, it could possibly be but maybe they want to keep another defensive back, so they keep Dante Johnson.
That's gonna piss me off if they do that. That's gonna have me tight.
I think they're only gonna keep 4 safeties. So if they say they keep 4 safeties, which usually, and then if they keep Marcel Harris at linebacker, he's also somebody that can fill in at hybrid. So they kind of use that, as a hybrid type guy. So there's a chance. I don't know. And Jefferson is gonna be sticky.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what the reports on what Jefferson was looking like prior to his injury? Like how I know he only practiced probably a handful of times because it seems like he's been out most of camp.
Yeah, he has some like tendonitis or something. I think they're probably placing him on IR or something like that.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And now Kendrick is out of there with the IR settlement too. It seems like.
Yeah, they're gonna pay that settlement real quick. It's a decent little split.
Right. Well, man, that was it, man. I know I need to get the ring. I need to get a little ring so I got my skin looking all exfoliated like yours.
You can turn it up too. I mean, I could turn it down. Sometimes I turn it down a little bit. Boom, go a little dark, try to set the mood a little. You know what I'm saying? Go a little, a little brighter. But I don't try to go too
glistening over there. That's all I need.
You know what I'm saying? A little boom. Got the ring right there. Yeah, man. Yeah, get your lighting. I need to get better. I actually have these 2 light boxes. I'm gonna invest a little bit more in this stuff, man.
Yeah,
But
we need to come on here and start drinking like Middlecoff and them. They be pouring up drinks so we can get sponsored, bro.
I know, man. We got to get Tito's.
They be Middlecoff, yeah, Tito's. They be lit, going all night.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna get something. I think Terrell Owens got something going on. He follows me on Twitter.
Okay, tap in.
I'm gonna reach out to T.O. because he got his alcohol.
Yeah, tap in with Big Bro.
Yeah. All right, man. But shoes, y'all, that's gonna do it, man. Appreciate everybody coming in. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Man, from Croc, my dog Jasper, we're out. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Croc Talk TV podcast. Peace.